Yo, how's it going? So, these artists' career ended in seconds. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what's up.
These artists' careers were never the same after one incident, whether it was from their own terrible decisions or a minor misstep that got blown out of proportion. Today we are going to discuss them all,
Silento
starting with
is a wild
Macklemore,
one.
who leaked
Definitely
a
a wild
text
one.
message that made everyone question what they thought they knew about him. In 2012 and 2013, you could not go anywhere without hearing the song Thrift Shop. Far from your typical rap song, Macklemore flexed $20 and had suburban moms dancing to his funky saxophone. This song spent 6 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Mac had one-hit wonder written all over him. He carried the most stereotypical white rapper image that is perceived as corny by hip-hop culture, but he proved everyone wrong with his second hit, Can't Hold Us, which spent
That
5
song.
weeks at the
That's
number
the
1
song I
spot. This
remember,
track was
bro.
definitely more of a standard pop track, but 2 Billboard number 1s in his first year as a mainstream artist stamped that he was a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
However, it was all about to come crashing down, as Macklemore would suffer from success. At the 2014 annual Grammy Awards, Macklemore was nominated in 7 categories, the biggest and most prestigious being Best Rap Album and Best Rap Song. After winning Best Rap Performance and Best New Artist, people were happy to see him win 2 Grammys. Nominated for Best Rap Song up against Drake, Kanye West, Jay-Z, it seemed unlikely Macklemore would win, but Thrift Shop was in fact the winner of Best Rap Song of 2014, securing him his 3rd Grammy of the night. But what would come next would shock the world.
I can give him because I remember this. Yeah, I can give him probably rap song, but rap album, nah, bro. There were too many heavy
Up
hitters.
against Drake's Nothing
Yep.
Was the Same, Jay-Z's Magna Carta, Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid Mad City,
Which
and
should have
Kanye
won.
West's Yeezus, Macklemore had absolutely no chance of winning. Everyone was betting on Kendrick since he without a doubt had the best album of the bunch, but wouldn't be
Definitely.
entirely surprised if it went to the other nominees. The hip-hop community was floored when Macklemore and Ryan Lewis's The Heist won Best Rap Album of the Year. The Heist couldn't be a more fitting name for this absolute
real.
robbery.
That's a
Macklemore
conspiracy
was
right
being
there.
cooked by the hip-hop community online, reminding him in every comment section that he didn't deserve to win. He felt so much pressure that he decided to text Kendrick Lamar and apologize. "You got robbed.
Kendrick
I
real.
wanted you to win. You should have. It's weird and sucks that I robbed you. I was gonna say that during the speech, then the music started playing during my speech and I froze. Anyway, you know what it is. Congrats on this year and your music. Appreciate you as an artist and as a friend. Much love." We wouldn't have ever seen this text if Macklemore didn't post it to
Facts.
social media, which
Yeah.
made it even worse and looked like he was just trying to get in the good graces with the public.
Did you ever feel any
That's
way
how I
about
felt,
him
yeah, I was
posting
like,
the
bro,
text
come
message
on.
or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it was uncalled for, to be 100 with you. When he sent it to me, I was like, okay, I could see him feeling that type of way because he a good dude. But I think for confirmation from the world, he probably felt like he had to put it out there, which he didn't need to do. But
Yeah, man, you
it
don't
don't
have
take
to
nothing
prove
away from
yourself.
him anyway because I know where his heart is at. He cool.
Despite Kendrick being cordial and saying that Macklemore meant well, hip-hop fans could never truly accept Macklemore as a part of the culture. They thought he was disingenuous, and they didn't really like his music in the first place, so this was an easy excuse to forget about him. He stepped out of the limelight, and many people suggest his music was never as ambitious ever again. He felt guilt, and that guilt ate him alive. His 2016 album, This Unruly Mess I Made, sold just 61,000 copies in the first week. Him and Ryan Lewis split up shortly after, and Mac released another solo album, Gemini, that did decent amongst his fan base, but ultimately, he hasn't had any major mainstream success in almost a decade. But unlike Macklemore, DaBaby refused to apologize to anyone, which is leading to one of the dumbest downfalls of all time. Baby
Yeah, bro. Certain comments you just gotta keep to yourself, especially because I heard he had especially because he has all these I heard he had all these concerts lined up that were for sure gonna rake in millions, and then out of nowhere, just poop, they're gone. That's it. Drop the ball, drop the bag. Some comments you
B
just gotta
exploded
keep
onto
to
the
yourselves,
mainstream
my
rap
guy.
scene in 2019 with his hit song Suge, which peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. In a world of repetitive melodic trap, DaBaby felt fresh and exciting, providing us with bouncy and fun bangers. He dominated for the next 2
Oh yeah, bro.
years,
I love
constantly
DaBaby's
having
music
multiple
videos.
singles
They're
on the
great.
Billboard Hot 100, and he was in regular rotation on the radio. His track Rockstar with Roddy Ricch was the number 1 song for 7 weeks straight, a very tough thing to do as a hip-hop artist. But DaBaby was always known for having a bold personality. He was the type to say whatever he wanted, and if you had a problem, he was more than willing to handle it. He even killed a guy in Walmart. Don't worry, it was self-defense.
I remember
well, in July
when
of
he knocked that guy
2021,
out
on
in
the stage of
in the
Rolling
mall.
Loud, his loose lips got him in major trouble. Maybe some that he can't recover from.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone light in the air. Lady, if your pussy smell like water, put a cell phone light in the air.
That shit always makes me laugh, bro. Like, what kind of that came out of like such a left field. You're just like, what? What is STDs got to do with this concert, my guy? And then the whole entire pussy smells like water, bro. This shit cracks me up all the time.
Lights up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking nigga in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights in the air.
Completely unprovoked and for no reason at all, DaBaby was thinking about gay men and what they do in their free time while he was on stage performing.
bro.
He referred to people with AIDS as dirty and will likely die soon from the illness. Both statements are
That's wild.
categorically and factually untrue. The clip was shared onto the internet and sent millions of people into an uproar. DaBaby addressed this on his Instagram and clarified his message.
I wasn't going on no rant. That's called a call to action. That's what that's called, because I'm a live performer. I'm the best live performer. I'm the live show killer. You interact with your fans. You get what I'm saying? Look, all the lights went up gay, straight. You want to know why? Because even my gay fans don't got fucking AIDS, stupid ass niggas.
Him doubling down on his comments made everything way
just
worse,
say-
as he clearly was very uneducated on the AIDS disease and the unfair stigmas that come with it. And although he eventually issued an apology addressing the LGBTQ community, he had made countless contradictory statements after. He tried to profit off the controversy in music videos and even kind of redacted his own apology.
If I say what I say to get people to raise their cell phones and it's misinterpreted by people who watch a 5-second clip at home, you're not supposed to understand what's going on. You couldn't raise your cell phone if you wanted to, so you ain't supposed to be able to digest a clip, you know what I'm saying? A clip that has been altered and shortened with a narrative to go along with it, with enough people driving it, it's gonna do what it do.
From here, he got kicked off every major festival in 2021 that he was supposed to perform at. And even when he did perform, he was booed and had garbage thrown at him. A-list celebrities and fellow collaborators condemned.
I do disagree of again, like when you start throwing things at the artists that you disagree with, such as Kid Cudi, like yo, like it's not that serious for you to assault people or throw stuff at them. That's just uncalled for. No matter how, like, yeah, boo him, cool, but to assault somebody, that's just, I think that's wild to me. Like,
Condemned him,
you're
but
doing
the
too much.
controversy continued. He got into fights, tormented and broke down the mother of his child on Instagram, tried to kiss one of his fans without consent. DaBaby was not trying to save face. He just kept saying, "I'm sorry for being me." His ticket sales plummeted, which resorted to him offering buy one get one free deals to fill out the venues. One report alleged that he only sold 500 tickets to a venue that holds 14,000 people, and he claims to have lost $30 million because of the controversy.
Like what were the
a week or
L's,
two after, $30 million that I would have had before the ball dropped 2021. So this happened rolling out what, July? I had $30 million worth of shows on the schedule before
He got canceled,
December
bro.
31st.
All he had to say was, "Put your hands in the air if you just don't care," and all of this could have been avoided. But if you think what DaBaby said was bad, you'll be horrified by what CeeLo Green said in a series of questionable tweets.
Ah, yes,
If you don't remember
CeeLo.
the name CeeLo Green or his previous duo Gnarls Barkley, you definitely remember his
That
two
was a
most
duo?
iconic songs, Crazy and Forget You.
I love Forget You. That's a great song. But I didn't know that was a duo. I thought it was just him. That's crazy. It's just same with Ryan Macklemore. I didn't know that that was a group or whatever. But okay, anyway.
Crazy peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and spent 29 weeks on the chart. Forget You, which he released solo 4 years later, also went number 2 on the Hot 100 after spending almost a full year on the charts. CeeLo had a very unique voice and was undeniably talented. He pretty much only gave us 2 hits, but was an ever-present pop culture figure throughout the early 2010s. Whether he was hosting an award show, his own reality show, voice acting, or being a judge on The Voice, CeeLo was loved and appreciated, until some shocking allegations arose. CeeLo was accused by a 33-year-old woman he dined with at a downtown Los Angeles sushi restaurant of placing ecstasy also known as MDMA
What
or
the
Molly,
fuck?
in her drink. The woman later told Los Angeles police detectives she woke up naked in bed in her hotel room with Green.
Oh,
CeeLo allegedly
bro.
admitted to law enforcement
never
that he
heard of
took
this.
ecstasy, but denied drugging the woman's drink or committing sexual assault. CeeLo's sexual assault charges were dropped after prosecutors concluded there wasn't enough evidence to take that accusation to court, but he was
Damn.
found guilty on drug charges, which landed him 3 years probation. But it wasn't the nature of the charges that ruined his career, it's what he said on Twitter after the case. After being criticized by people in public tweets, he decided to respond. Women who have really been R-worded, remember, but point taken. So if I tried but did not succeed, but the person said I did, then what really happened? When someone breaks in a home, there is broken glass. Where is your plausible proof anyone was R-worded? If someone passed out, they're not even with you consciously, so with implies consent. It's hard.
If someone passed out, they're not even with you consciously. So with implies consent. What kind of stupid ass comments are these? Like, bro, people have been, what's it called? Like, drug are worded. Like, you know, like people spike people's drinks. You know, like there's.
Hard to see what point he was trying to make here, but the blogs were not holding back. CeeLo, it's not rape if you forget. CeeLo Green, it isn't rape if the victim is unconscious.
Exactly.
After these tweets, his reputation was destroyed. He lost all of his live performance bookings. He quit The
Deserved.
Voice to
He's
avoid being
deserved.
fired. His TV show was canceled, and he basically disappeared from the pop culture zeitgeist, pretty much surviving off royalties and small film roles here and there.
Bro.
But I guess him and I are friends now?
Yo, Pat, what's up, man? I'm assuming that your friends call you Pat,
My friends do call me Pat, so
and I consider myself to be one of your friends. I
Congrats.
consider myself to be one of your
I think-
friends.
The next person on our list lost her career from something that was totally out of her control. In fact, it may have even been a setup. Janet Jackson is a woman
Oh,
who
yeah,
needs
yeah.
no introduction.
The whole wardrobe malfunction. That it was. What a weird, like, people took that out of proportion. Like, it was just a wardrobe malfunction. Chillax. All right. It's nothing she could have done, or the way anyway she could have handled that. Like, Justin Timberlake ripped that
She's the
titty out.
youngest of the 9 iconic Jackson family siblings. Although she was not a part of the original Jackson 5, she would go on to have a massive solo music career. Jackson signed the first of 2 record-breaking multi-million-dollar contracts with Virgin Records, establishing her as one of the highest-paid artists in the industry. She was named by Billboard magazine in the 90s as the second most successful recording artist of the decade in the United States after Mariah Carey. Over 100 million records sold, 10 Billboard #1 songs, 27 top 10 hits. She is easily the most successful artist on this list, which is why her downfall is even more tragic. The Super Bowl in America is always the most watched televised program every year, with an average of around 100 million people watching the game. The halftime show has historically been a major milestone in an artist's career, as it is the biggest stage they will likely ever be on. In 2004, Janet Jackson was asked to do the show, but not by herself, which was surprising since she easily had enough hits to do a full set. Instead, she only got to perform 2 of her songs. The other time was filled out by Justin Timberlake, Diddy, Nelly, Kid Rock, and Jessica Simpson. The
Wow,
very last
really?
song of the performance was Justin's hit song, Rock Your Body, in which Janet assisted him. The two met at the center of the stage to pose for the grand finale. Justin reaches across Janet's body and pulls off the chest piece of her costume, exposing her breast to 90 million people.
Wow.
The wardrobe malfunction is considered the biggest controversy in televised history. This incident was actually the inspiration for YouTube because of the difficulty finding footage to rewatch online. Now,
Huh,
to some
I never
degree,
knew
this
that.
was planned. Justin's intention was to pull the leather piece off her chest and expose the red underneath, but he ripped too much. In the split second the
ripped too
camera was on
much.
Janet, you can see her look down in shock.
Damn.
She tried to cover herself while Timberlake stood holding the ripped pieces of her costume and bra.
I was like, show the titty. Wow.
The FCC received more than 500,000 complaints after the performance. CBS was fined $550,000, and the
That's a
halftime
repercussion right
sponsor
there.
AOL demanded a return of the $10 million advertising cost they paid to the NFL. Justin apologized, MTV apologized, Janet apologized, even though she later
Yeah, I was
regretted
about to
it
say
because
that.
it was an
Janet-
accident. The media
Janet should have never apologized. She should have just said, it happens. Like, it's a live show. What the fuck you want from me? I feel bad. Like they pressed her
went
hard,
into an
like
all-out
as if it was
frenzy.
her
The FCC
doing.
investigated the halftime show to see if this was a planned media stunt meant to shock the world, citing that because she was wearing a nipple covering, that was evidence this was all set up. Class action lawsuits were filed against Janet by random citizens, claiming that her sexually explicit performance deserved maximum punitive damages. Every talk show host in the nation dragged her. Viacom had to pay out $3.5 million to settle various indecency complaints, so they went and
Wow,
banned
people
all
took
radio and
advantage.
TV stations that they owned from
Their
playing
bags.
any of Janet Jackson's music. Janet was blackballed from the music industry over an accident, and Justin was not punished at all, even though it was definitely his fault. There is no doubt
That's
her
wild.
punishment was unfair and likely due to her gender and race. Her career after that wasn't totally dismantled. She did have a #1 album, a Grammy nomination, some light Billboard presence, but this incident lingered like a dark cloud over her head for many years, and slowly she faded out of the mainstream.
I am one of those women who have been gagged, both literally and emotionally, women who have been abused, women who have been intimidated, women who have lived in fear. I stand with you. You are my sisters.
However, today, most
Good for
people
her.
can all agree that this was just an overreaction, and she is still highly regarded as one of the most iconic pop stars of all time. Overreacting
I
to
agree.
small mistakes seemed to be common in the early 2000s, because this next artist's career was destroyed by something so small, it's almost unbelievable. Ashley Simpson was the younger sister of the already famous pop star Jessica Simpson, who was a multi-platinum Billboard charting recording artist. She also had her own MTV show. Newlyweds, Nick and Jessica was one of the most popular programs on the network. MTV wanted to capitalize on the Simpson sisters' newfound fame and gave Ashley her own series called The Ashley Simpson Show. The series ran for 2 seasons and aired every week on MTV directly after Jessica's show. Viewers who were invested in Jess were introduced to Ashley immediately after. Ashley was desperate to not live in the
That was
shadows
pretty
of her
good.
sister.
Pretty
She
good
dyed
move
her
right there.
naturally blonde hair brown and built a pop punk image to complement her pop rock music. Her album's lead single, Pieces of Me, became an instant hit in the United States. The song peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 500,000 copies nationwide. Ashley's debut album was released soon after, with an estimated 398,000 copies sold in its first week. Worldwide, the album sold more than 5 million copies. She had a bigger debut than her sister, but
Nice.
her career ended just before it took off. Saturday Night Live, 2004. Ashley Simpson was set to perform her single Pieces of Me
The
when this
dance moves is
happened.
crazy.
On a Monday, I am waiting. Tuesday, I am fading.
What the fuck?
You might be kind of confused as to what
She
happened.
straight up went
Basically,
into
the
a
backing
hoedown.
vocals started playing before Ashley expected them, as it was her intention to lip sync her performance. But instead of trying to catch up to the song, she stood there in a panic, then hit this extremely awkward jig dance twice, before ultimately exiting the
down with-
stage
get
without
boogie
saying
with it.
anything. The show cut to commercial, and when it came back, she blamed her band.
Ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? Live TV.
Exactly. I feel so bad. My band started playing the wrong song, and I know what to do, so I thought I'd do a hoedown.
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry.
If she just told the truth right away, she may have been able to avoid the backlash.
She could
But
have saved
instead,
herself.
Ashley became a laughing stock.
On a Monday, you saw me. On Tuesday, you called me. On Wednesday.
Bro, like I remember I first heard of this just because of the Family Guy, like the Old Man Rivers, I think. Yeah, yep. Oh, I got goofed. Yeah, that's the only way I
Even
found
news
out about
anchors
that.
poked fun at her.
Sister's performance on Saturday Night Live was, well, out of sync, you could say.
All right.
They're cold
sorry,
for
we
that.
had to
They're
do that.
cold for that.
It was just our own little lip syncing adventure.
We were mocking her.
At just 19, she was publicly ridiculed by the world. And this is all especially ridiculous considering today's standards are much lower. It almost feels like lip syncing isn't even a real thing anymore. Half of my favorite artists at their live shows just let the song play, jump around, and yell random ad libs. Even though Ashley was a decent performer, and she did have an opportunity to redeem herself on various late night shows, nobody cared. Nobody wanted to give her a second chance. It was too much fun to make jokes and boo her off stage.
Wow. I mean, you can't do her dirty like that though either. It wasn't
She
that
did have
serious.
a moderate comeback with her single Boyfriend in 2005, and her second album
2005.
eventually selling 3 million copies worldwide, but she had already seen the peak of her music career, and as it slowly dwindled away, she maintained her relevance in the 2010s through relationships, various television projects, and her own social media. But the last person on our list
kinda
has
reminds
the
me of
most
Anna Faris.
unexpected, shocking, and horrifying incidents that landed
Yeah,
them in
bro.
prison.
I
In
did not
2015, the
believe
world
this.
was
I
dancing to
was-
Silent Hill's
it
hit
was a
song,
trip to hear
Watch
this.
Me. The song paired with the massive viral dance, the whip and the nay-nay. All of social media was flooded with videos of people doing the dance. With Vine and Instagram
Damn.
peaking in popularity, Silent Hill laid the foundation for what would become
One of my favorite ones is when the kid, like, I think he took his I think he broke his shoulder out of socket or something like that. Like he twisted and like his shoulder, his arm went out of socket. And all you hear is like the mom, ooh. Oh my god, bro, what a classic.
extremely normal on TikTok many years later. He performed at award shows, on Nickelodeon, every talk show in America. The virality got the single to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, as well as 1.8 billion views on YouTube. Today, the record is 6 times platinum. Unfortunately,
dead.
hip-hop dance tracks have a history of being impossible to outdo, because for every one that becomes culturally iconic, there are hundreds of cheesy failed attempts to recreate the moment. Silent Hill waited 3 years to drop his album Fresh Outta High School, which failed to generate any buzz, and his second album went almost totally unnoticed. But before you could fully count him out, he made a decision that officially ended his career. On January 21st, 2021, the 23-year-old
Bro
rapper was
does not
arrested for
look
the murder of his
all right.
cousin,
He looks out
34-year-old
of it.
Frederick Rooks, after a shooting in DeKalb County, Georgia. Police said officers found Rooks suffering from multiple gunshot wounds at a home off of Deep Shoals Circle. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators did not have a suspect at the time. Responding officers were able to obtain video from the security cameras of multiple residents and later identified Hawk, or Silento, as the gunman. Silento was arrested February 1st, 2021, and then later indicted by a Georgia grand jury on 4 felonies: 1 count of malice murder, 1 count of felony murder, aggravated assault, and gun possession during the commission of a felony. As of now, the court has deemed Silento unfit for the safety of the public and will remain incarcerated until further trial. Since the trial has not started yet, we don't know how he did it, we don't know why he did it, and we
Yeah,
don't know
why
how
did
long
he
he
do
might
it?
be
That's
in
my-
jail,
that's-
but we
that's what I
do know
thought. It's like, why
is
did he
that
do
his
that?
career is officially over.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. Yeah, man. I feel like only Janet Jackson's Janet Jackson is the one that just sucks. No, Janet Jackson and Ashley Simpson. I kind of feel bad for those two because those two things aren't as crazy compared to the other guys on the list. But hey, I guess. All right. Anyway, catch y'all later.